What's going on? My name is Scotty Russell, and I create under the name Perspective Collective, and I live in Cedar Falls, Iowa. A few things you should know about me is that I love illustrations, lettering, and calligraphy. I also may have a slight obsession with creating pizza art. It can tend to get pretty cheesy sometimes, but that's all right. A piece of me just really enjoys doing it. True story though. I didn't accept that I was an artist until I received that little tiny piece of paper upon graduation. Before it became an obsession, it was just a hobby that I kept to myself. My first run-in with art that I can remember was in kindergarten when I drew this dope dragon using neon green and orange crayons. And I couldn't believe that squiggly monster manifested from my stubby little fingers. Safe to say, I was hooked, but I decided it was better to keep this new interest to myself. Here's the thing, I grew up getting bullied pretty hardcore for multiple reasons. Mostly it was due to the lethal combination of sporting a bowl cut, being overweight, having braces, glasses, and rocking Jinkos way past their prime. Obviously, I was providing the bullies in my life plenty of fuel for their wrath. I could only imagine how much worse it would have been had I claimed that I was an artist growing up. So when I was a kid, I kept a sketchbook with me everywhere I went, but I kept it hidden from the world like it was some type of secret classified document. The only people that saw my work were my parents, my art teachers, and a handful of friends. When I was young, drawing was an escape from the real world and my self-esteem issues. Oddly enough, it still is today. It's been a place where I could create my own universe where nothing had to make sense, but for some reason it made perfect sense to me. This brings me to college, where my secret was finally exposed as my good friend Tyson uncovered my stash of sketchbooks in my room. I couldn't help but cringe as he flipped through them. Yet to my surprise, he was actually enjoying them. This led to waves of peer pressure from Tyson as he persistently persuaded me to share my work on the only social network at the time, crazy enough, which was Facebook. Reluctantly, I gave in and began creating albums of my sketchbook doodles. To be honest, sharing my work online with other people was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But looking back on it now, it was the spark that helped me transform my hobby into a creative career. The second hardest thing I've done in my creative career has been sticking with it, especially through those times where I have felt invisible. I realized one of the best ways to continue to improve, grow, and evolve as an artist is to suck it up when it's not convenient, dedicate yourself to practicing every day, and constantly pump out work whether it's a masterpiece or an experimental flop. Drawing is the thing I enjoy doing most in my life, and I've realized that it can open massive doors to opportunity. And I like to see it as playing baseball. It takes a lot of bad work to get you your best work. And this is the type of work that will build a name for yourself and put you on the map. Well, in baseball, the more at-bats you get, the better odds you have to knock one out of the park. Not every crack of your bat is going to be a home run, just like not every piece of work you put out is going to go viral. There's going to be plenty of times you strike out and feel like your work is worthless and like no one is paying attention. Realize that you have to keep swinging and creating work that's important to you. You never know when you'll get a hold of one and catch a big break that'll advance your creative career. And it's the thought of getting a hold of one that keeps me swinging and it keeps me excited to stay in the game. When you stay in the game long enough and produce work that you enjoy, you never know what kind of opportunities are going to come your way. And speaking of opportunities, art has paved a bizarre path for me that I could have never imagined 3 years ago. A few years back, I realized I could make an impact outside of a polished Instagram post, so I began weekly blogging. Writing consistently massively helped me find my voice, and it allowed me to talk through some of the mind games that I struggle with. Blogging opened doors to begin public speaking. Public speaking led to me hosting and encouraging my fellow creatives through the Perspective podcast. And looking back on it all, it's a trip to think that this all started with that terrifying moment of sharing some drawings on Facebook. I feel the greatest opportunities in life come from when you get uncomfortable. It's up to you and me to keep swinging and to lean into the discomfort. These are just as important as enjoying the process along the way. So now you know a little bit more about me, and you can hear more of my story at WMC Fest, Friday, August 18th through Sunday, August 20th. You can catch me speaking at the 5:25 p.m. slot Saturday. And please be prepared to feast your little pupils on some pizza work as well.